25.
Okay. Get live on Facebook here. Okay. Welcome everybody to another recording of the Real Estate Mastermind podcast. Today's special guest is Susan Maxwell from Remax of Stuart. Got a lot of buzz. A lot of folks have shown interest. So welcome, Susan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Emmett.
Okay, just real quick, we'll do a start off. You tell us a little bit about yourself, how you where you came from, and how you came to be at Remax.
Sure. So I moved here with my family from New Jersey in 2001. I had visited I had another home on the west coast of Florida back in the 80s and 90s, but we came over to this coast, loved it. We researched schools, which is one of the reasons that we ended up in the Stuart Palm City area. Matthew at that time was 4 years old. So we ended up buying a place in Palm City, 2001. And I had done some real estate back in New Jersey, but I really kind of dove in with, both feet probably around 2004 or so. I got Matthew settled in school and with some therapies. Matthew has autism. And then, really hit the ground running, I would say 2004.
Okay.
Right when the market was crashing. It was great.
Yeah, it was awesome, right? Yeah, anybody who lived through that.
Yeah.
Because I started mortgages in 2007, like just before the wheels fell off. So
yeah.
I did a few 228s, and I knew it was like no stated income. What is this?
Yeah, when people used to sign themselves, right?
Yeah. So you started off as an individual agent then?
I did, and then I worked at Premier Realty Group. I ended up having a partner at Premier, and we worked as just partnership. And then I was recruited by Remax. My partner at that time didn't want to go over to Remax. I came over as a buyer's agent for one of the agents who's still here, and then decided to go out on my own. And you had asked me, how my team started. Mm-hmm. And how, what I was looking for in a team. And I actually was never looking for a team. They all came to me, each one of them. Yeah. Everybody has been on my team because I really didn't know how to start a team, or at that point have a desire to have a team. So as the team grew, it was everybody came to me. And now I couldn't imagine not having a team. I could never work by myself. I love this. It's like a family.
That's great. That's great. Because I know there's some agents that, did very well for themselves, might be thinking about trying to expand with a team. So yeah, what are some of the pointers you have for that agent that wants to grow a team? What would you tell that agent?
Well, I would just say if somebody's looking for just a partnership, to have somebody that doesn't have the skill set that you have. Like, I'll just give an example. I am terrible techie. When I'm home, I can't even watch TV if my son or my husband are not home. We've got remotes all over. I need like a roadmap. I'm like, is anybody coming home soon? I need to watch TV. So I'm so not techie. So I would say if you're looking for a partner, look for somebody that has different skill sets than you do. So you can complement each other.
So basically don't hire yourself.
Don't hire yourself, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that was, for me being coach, I hired my loan partner who she actually visited, when she was down here in December, who can handle the, she's licensed and former underwriter, and who's not me. So that's definitely, because many times you try and hire yourself. That's why you use things like disc profiles, things like that.
Yes.
Okay. So how many are on your team now?
There are 8 of us. And we also have a transaction coordinator assistant. She does a little bit more than just transactions. And we have a full-time social media director.
You do.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
And she has been with us, oh goodness, maybe 10 years now.
Oh, so is that like a third party or not? Like not your employee per se? It's somebody you contract with.
Correct. She works with other businesses as well.
Gotcha. Well, very good. So what does that
She
social media director do for
constantly.
you?
We like send her an email at 12 midnight. She responds. I'm like, don't do that. I just have to get it off my plate, but don't respond to me. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
terrific.
Well, cool. So how is it? So it's basically, all your agents take listings? Or are you the only listing agent?
No. So how we are structured is everybody on the team does everything. They're not called buyer's agents. They're not called listing they do everything.
Mm-hmm. Because I know there's some teams that have all under one name. So it's all listings and sales recorded under your name. And then so basically there's different ways you do it. Either have the agents themselves book it in MLS for their sales, or is it under your sales team numbers? How does that usually work?
It's under my name so that we can keep track of our stats.
Gotcha. Very good. Very good. Okay.
To show strength when we're going for appointments. Absolutely.
Gotcha. So are agents on a draw or a salary, or is it just commission based? Like, how does that work? Again,
they're all commission based.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Very good. Okay. Let's just switch to marketing, so obviously anybody who's been around here knows who Maxwell is. It didn't start off that way. So how do you guys usually market for lead generation? What tactics do you guys use?
Yeah, so most of our business, and I have to go through last year's 2022 stats, but typically somewhere in the 90% range. For 2021, I believe it was 94% of our business was repeat and referral.
Wow.
So
94%?
Yeah. It's pretty high. So most of our business comes from our client base, from our database.
Okay.
So our big focus in our team is to nurture our database.
So what, that was my next question. So is that an intentional reach out campaign every day, every week? Like what kind of tactics do you use to nurture that database?
Sure. So, we follow the Buffini method of sending out note cards, phone calls, and we do a lot of client events as well.
You do. So,
We do.
So what kind of client events that you have done recently?
Recently, let's just talk about last year. So last year, and my team is here, you can't see them, so they can refresh my memory. So we did a beer tasting event last year at Ocean Republic. And the good part of that was that everybody loved it. We packed the house. Everything was great. The bad news was they ran out of parking spots.
Wow.
And a lot of our people had to leave because they couldn't get a parking spot. So that was a party. We also did 2 parties at Sneaky Tiki downtown Stuart. And that's always fun because that's outside and it's,
the weather's good.
Islandy and good music. And we just do finger foods and drink tickets.
Cool.
And then we didn't do that this year.
Pie day.
Oh, we do the Thanksgiving pie giveaway. We do that at our office here in Palm City. We have our clients come in, receive a pie. We usually have, some snacks and drinks set up also. So we try to make that into a little bit of a party. And then the girls and guys, Michael, I'm so excited to have that. Michael, I keep saying, though, I keep forgetting that.
He's a good sport.
He's a great sport.
Because I was in there when I did a presentation. I said, hey, all you gals. And he's like, don't worry. I hear it all the time.
I know. He tolerates a lot from us. So the team also does what we call pop buys. And if anybody's a Buffini fan, they know what that is. And that's just visiting clients throughout the year with little gifts or little things that are pertaining to the season, maybe something for, maybe some goodies for Valentine's Day coming up, or dropping off some, fun lottery tickets for St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it sounds like you have a measured.
Basically, it's database related.
Yeah. I mean, and it sounds like an intentional plan that you execute, just like anything, everything works, nothing works.
Yes.
But nothing will work.
And then in addition to that, we also are Zillow Flex agents. Okay. So we do utilize Zillow. Well, and obviously, the team loves to do open houses to meet people.
Very good. We're good. So talk more about your Zillow journey. I know Zillow can be a hot button topic for real estate and mortgage folks. Sure. I have, certain opinions. I've used Zillow personally on the lender side. Sure. I've co-marketed, but they also started their own mortgage brokerage, and also they're now realtors. So they're kind of competitors too, not just lead brokers as they were. So how do you feel about Zillow's role in the marketplace today?
So, I think at this point, Zillow has made such a name for themselves. And do I think they're the best search engine? No. Do I think they're the most accurate? No. But are they one of the most user-friendly sites? Yes. Mm-hmm. So if you talk to the average consumer, they love Zillow because it's easy for them to navigate. There are a couple others. Let's talk about Realtor. Realtor, I think, is a much better search engine, but not as user-friendly. So just because I don't agree with the platform doesn't mean that I don't embrace it, because if the clients and the buyers and the sellers are embracing it, we have to.
Right. So
that's my opinion on that anyway.
Well, that's a key point. So basically you go with the flow, basically. Like you don't find,
if you can't beat them, join them.
Right. But you don't find that buyers and sellers feel they don't need realtors, because I got Zillow. That's my only concern. They feel like Zillow can do everything. If they view it as a tool, that's cool. Like they understand that professionals, they need to, show them the market and whatnot. So that's my only, because Zillow, because whatever they tell their investors is who they really care about. And to them, they want to roll up all the services. I mean, they've told their investors that.
Yes.
But I don't think they can do that, because real estate is hyper local. So as long as there was good agents like yourself, you can do that. So, okay. Yeah.
I have come across that. I mean, like I would say with any buyer, there are buyers that think this and think that, but I don't see any difference with the typical Zillow buyer.
Right. I mean, so I know MLSs have their own listing package. So do you say, hey, go on Zillow, search homes? Do you encourage your buyers to do that?
Never. No, I wouldn't do that. But say if we get a call from somebody on Zillow, we would treat it as somebody who was a referral or somebody that we've met at an open house or a function. Sure.
Gotcha. Just means that. Yeah. So do you do any of your own online marketing? Like, do you have a website you drive traffic to, or Google pay-per-click, or anything like that?
Yes, we do have our own. We have our Susan Maxwell team website, and we also have a Remax website.
Cool. And
but again, I would say, most of our business comes from our database.
That's great. I mean, that is a business, so you're not hunting on Zillow, like that's a true business.
Yes.
So congrats. That's like,
thank you.
Everyone's goal. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
I just saw that Remax turned 50 years old. I see that the Remax company turned 50 years old, which is a testament to the Remax brand.
Yes. And I think the brand helps us in situations also, because everybody's heard of Remax, right?
True.
Fran and I were on a listing appointment yesterday, and they said they were interviewing different agents. They said, who are you with? And we said, Remax. And they're like, oh, yes. Yeah. So they've paved the way for us.
Very good. Okay. Well, switching gears here. Okay. The market, we saw a rah-rah 2020, 2021, buying over lists, a lot of funny videos about, 47 offers, as soon as you put it out there. And then we've kind of switched very quickly. I mean, rates doubled from March until October. we went from threes to the sevens, and then it seemed like it all came to a screeching halt, which I think,
I agree.
once the tide goes out, everybody gets exposed. So
Yeah.
I personally love this time because this is my business and I'm in it to win it. And so what are your thoughts about what we saw last year leading into this year for this market, for locally and on the Treasure Coast of Florida as well as nationally?
Yeah. Well, it was a fairy tale I call it spring of 2021. I mean, it was crazy. Did anybody see that coming? No. And as quickly as it came, the light switch went off immediately. And so none of us have a crystal ball. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here. We would have bought everything up and sold it, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know. The light switch can go on just as quickly as it came off. I personally am seeing a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I think this week, or maybe the last week or so, our phones are starting to ring.
Mm-hmm.
Things are starting to happen. We are seeing more activity in the market. I think that in any market, Emmett, people are going to buy and sell. And I think a lot of it is here. It's between our heads.
Mm-hmm.
We can feed ourselves anything and say, the sky's falling, this isn't a good market. It's not really a great time for you to buy or you to sell, or maybe we should wait. But I think that a lot of it is just what we put into our minds, and know that you and I had a discussion earlier. No matter what, you're always going to make money in real estate. If you're a flipper and want to make money in 6 months, maybe not every market's going to be that way, or a year. But we all have the story of, oh my gosh, I wish my grandmother never sold that beach house, back in 1973 when she sold it for $17,000, and now it's worth, in the millions. Yeah. So historically, real estate is always a great investment. I think that if we look at some of our clients who bought 4 or 5 years ago, they've made a profit.
Right. They have. But we also talked about how there's a industry in the media, large hedge funds that want to and use the media to scare people. Because for me, I post content on YouTube and I study YouTube, and the number one search engine search keyword is housing crash.
Yes.
And there's certain channels out there that are hyper focused, and all the thumbnails are red and down arrows and like big blown up things in the background. It's just, and it's meant to generate a click. But what I tell people is read the comments, because that's like the stream of consciousness of buyers out there. And it's kind of scary. Like they believe it's true, that they want it to be true so bad that they want it to crash so they can buy something, at a lower price. But
I'm that person that I don't listen to the news anymore. I don't read any papers. I don't read the news because I feel that none of it's true anyway. I mean, there are some things I keep abreast of, but for the most part, these people need to sell stories.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion again.
That's true. This is true. I mean, because at the end of the day, for me, I believe we help families build wealth with real estate, because there's certain truths that homeowners are 46 times wealthier than renters.
Yeah. And the other thing that our team tries to stress is, if you're an investor and you're looking only to make money, okay, that's a different avenue. But what we really want to convey to our buyers are, this is your home. This is your family. This is your lifestyle. We want you to feel excited when you pull into your driveway. We want you to envision what are your holidays going to look like? How is it going to be raising your children here? How about the backyard for your dog? So it really should be more about families and people than money.
True.
Up until a few years ago, people didn't buy every 7 years. I mean, if I look back on my family, or I look back on my friends who grew up in the 60s and 70s, people stayed in their homes for 20, 30 years. This is something new that people buy every few years. We need to, I think, as realtors, talk about their life and their loves and their passions and their families rather than the money part of it.
Exactly. Okay, so as far as advice for agents, so say if you're a newer agent, you just got in the market the last couple of years, like all you saw was like go, 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 and then you're like, where'd my business go? So what is your advice? What is your advice for those folks?
Yeah, well, we talk about that a lot because we have some newer agents on our team, and it really just goes back to get down to the basics. Down to the basics, and obviously roll with the flow. You know, we were doing business a little bit differently in March and April than we were in November and December, and now January, February. So go with the flow and keep abreast of how we need to do business, but just get back to the basics. You know, talk to your clients. Again, dropping off some gifts, having coffee with them. All this business to me is relationships.
Yeah. So it's just building relationships. So I mean, but for that newer agent, that doesn't have a lot of relationships. I mean, you've been in the business for a few years. So how would that newer agent build those relationships, and who should they be building relationships with?
I would say that I think that everybody has maybe, let's just say 5 friends, acquaintances, teachers, whatever your life is. Take those people out for coffee.
Nice. And just say, hey, this
Say,
is what I do.
No, I haven't talked to you in a while. I'd love to catch up. Love to hear about your life, or tell me about your holidays, or tell me about your family. Obviously, and then, work it into your conversation about, or another thing is that if you have a business owner in town, like let's say, I'm trying to think, your hairstylist. Ask your hairstylist, how can I help you with your business? And I would love you, if you can, to help me with my business.
Exactly. Because there's a guy in our industry, his name is Barry Habib. Everybody in the mortgage business knows he's like the rate guy. Like that's who we study for interest rates. I heard him on a podcast say that anybody you pay money to needs to have your business card to understand what you do. So
that's great. Yes.
Hairdresser, mechanic,
Yes.
dog walker, any service that you pay for, they better keep you in mind when they think of real estate and mortgage. So
I love that. Great.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So let me see. Let's talk about video and social media. I see you have some very awesome videos. You have a lot of guess the price, listing price videos. Can you tell us more about how those came to be?
Yeah. So I usually say nothing is your idea. I saw that a couple years back from this agent out in, I forget where he was from, let's say Idaho. I called him and I said, I love this. Can I use this? And I did. And this was before the buzz on video. I know, like, my social media director, Athena, is always like, I need video, I need content, and we're, so started that guess the listing contest. I can't, and I don't look at any of my videos. Typically my son Matthew's the one recording, and I just say, how do you think it was? He's like, good. I'm like, okay. If I'm not, blah, 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 okay, we're just gonna post it. I'm not gonna look at it because I would never post it if I had to look at it. Ugh. So interesting story. I was in Publix about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe. And I'm going up and down the aisles, and this gentleman's like, Susan, hi, how are you? And I was like, oh, I don't recognize him. Oh my goodness. How do I know him from? I recognize everybody. I sell a house to her. Is he a neighbor? Is he a friend? And he's like, love the guess the listing contest she did last week. And I'm going, how's your family doing? Because I'm thinking, please give me some hints. How do I know you? And he's like, oh, we're doing good, this and that, and I'm still like, so I said, oh, well, I don't want to keep you, and I know your foods. And he's like, great. He's like, he's like, we've never met, but I just love your videos. And I was like, oh, thank goodness I didn't lose my mind. Yeah. But I was just like, a stranger's watching? That's wild, right?
Yes, it's definitely, because I started doing video, like I said, on YouTube, and I go to random birthday parties for my kids and they say, hey, I saw you on Facebook. I'm like, okay, and it's a little weird to get used to. Like I was taught, hey, get on video. And I'm the last guy that ever you would think to do it. I just started doing it. Yeah. So they find you because, ultimately everyone has a cell phone. More people have cell phones than electricity in the world.
Yeah, it's powerful. And what you're saying rang home because I was a few years back. I said something on Facebook about my husband and I were having a bet of some sort. And we went out for a drink that night to the Palm City Grill. And one of Matthew's teachers was there. And she's like, so who won the bet? I was like, you're watching? It's crazy. And then I'll have people come up to me, just strangers that I don't know, they're like, how's Stella, my dog? So I think it's more powerful than we realize.
Yeah. I mean, it's social media. And I just went to a conference for my trade association, AIM, and Gary Vaynerchuk was there. And he's been saying the same stuff. You got to create content. I mean, people think it's an extreme amount. He says 8 to 15 pieces of content a day. Which you can do by repurposing certain pieces, but that stream of consciousness, especially in the face of AI and chat GPT, I don't know if you've heard of that yet. So because at the end of the day, all you have left is brand, and that's how they recognize you, because you built a brand on social media that somebody remembered. They remembered you and how you made them feel. And that's, in my opinion, what video can do for you.
Yeah, and our video, I'll just at least say my video is very, it's not, there's no special lighting or anything that so many of the other realtors are doing such a great job with. It's just like Matthew with the cell phone. Okay, Mom, don't do more than 3 takes or I'm leaving. So, it's very, very casual.
Well, that's really all you need. I mean, like I said, the phones have, 1080p cameras. I mean, remember by digital cameras that are outdated within a year, but everything's in your phone. You can do it right there. Okay. Well, let's see here. That's all I have as far as questions. I think you covered a lot of the gamut. So as far as get back to video and social media, do you actively get any business from social media? Like anyone to say, hey, I saw you online and list my house, or I want to come to your area. Do you
yes, we do. But I also think that it's a avenue that you can't always track. Yeah. I don't get a lot of people saying, oh, I saw your video, I'd like to list. I think that it's compounded. I use the example like a billboard. People may see a billboard and they see you over and over and over and over again. And they may call you. Was it from that billboard, or was it just layers of the amount of times that they've seen you or heard you?
That is true. Okay. Well, let me see. I asked in here in Zoom, we have like 7 people online here. So if anybody has a question for Susan, I'd appreciate you put in the chat and let me know. And if you want to come on and ask her, I'll unmute you and ask her. Anybody raise hands? Everyone's a little shy.
You guys have a question? You guys start it.
Okay. Well, you have your team there, so they definitely.
Come on, start it. Ask me a question. They're like, where are we going for lunch today? Okay.
Great question. No, I mean, I think, it was a great interview. A lot of times it'll shrink down to half an hour unless there's some Q&A. Yeah. And just overall, I guess to close out, like, what do you feel is the your 2023 forecast? I know you don't have a crystal ball, obviously, but as far as how your team's going to do relative to last year into 21.
I think that, again, spring of 2021 was a fairy tale. I think that if you had a phone or computer and you could unlock a house, you were golden. Although I have to say that because we were in such a buyer's market and bidding war, if you didn't have the tools to get the offers accepted and the knowledge and the team support of how to get these offers accepted, I think it was probably a tough market for many. Now I think that we're back to a normalized market. And I think that's the direction that we're going to go. Here's my thoughts, prediction. if you will, is we are still, especially in Florida, we are still a great state. We have a lot of things going for us. We have the no income tax, huge. We have a lot of freedoms that other states don't. And let's talk about the biggest, the weather. We have consistently great weather.
Yes.
You know, the Northeast, where we get obviously a lot of our business, has not had an extremely cold or snowy winter, but it still gets gray and it's long. So I think those three factors will continue driving business down to our state. I also think that, you know, we had talked to a client yesterday who brought up that Florida was always considered for many years a vacation or a retirement state. Now, since COVID, a lot of companies are allowing their employees to work virtual. So where would you rather be, looking out at the gray skies in New Jersey or looking out at a palm tree in Florida? I'll take the palm tree. So I think that we're getting more families and younger people moving here all year too. So I foresee a strong year ahead. I think that those with the mindset and the skill set are going to make a very good living.
Yeah. And just from my perspective on the rate side, I'm starting to see rates starting with a 5. You know, that's starting to happen, you know, for certain scenarios. And they project it to drop even further throughout the year. And there's still tools like 2-1 buy downs and things to make it even lower for the first couple of years. So I think there's, you know, good things on the horizon, you know, so it's like, just like anything, you know, take care of your clients, you know, work with your class database and everything will be fine.
Yeah. And I think that the other thing is once the light switch turns, it's going to be too late. We're not, I don't know if it's going to be, is it ever going to be a gradual or is it going to turn like that? We don't know. So we're going to be ready. We roll our sleeves up and we're ready.
I like it. I like
it. Ask one question. There's a whole room full. Ask one question.
There you
that
go.
pertains to real estate, the future, anything, mortgage,
Ask her a question, ask me a question, whatever.
Yeah.
You just answer what I was going to ask.
I did. What about, why don't you ask, why don't you ask about, what do you think the benefits of doing an open house are in this market?
There you go. That's a fantastic question. Because I've been seeing, you know, back during the light switch days, like you said, there was no open houses. Like it was, you throw it out there. Now I see a bunch of open houses. So what is your open house strategy and what do you see as the benefits of doing open houses?
Yeah, I think that open houses are a great way to market your property because my husband doesn't understand real estate, which is great because I don't understand accounting and nor do I want to. But he said to me the other day, he said, wow, he's like, that person is, he said, they're really killing it. I said, no, they're not, but they post the same thing over and over and over again. So that's the perception. So when we post our open houses, people, they're not saying, oh, you posted that last week, the week before. Post, 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 post. I think it's great for your business. It's great for your seller because ultimately one of the reasons you're doing an open house or the main reason you're doing an open house is for that seller. But if it's not for the people coming in, is it a good way to meet buyers? Yes. What better way to meet buyers than somebody coming in to look at a house? Most of the time, people will argue with me on this. Most of the time, people are not wasting their time going to an open house. They have some interest, whether it's now, 6 months, a year, they have some interest.
Yeah. So do you do any door knocking, like 4 houses to the left, 4 houses to the right, like kind of let the neighbors know?
Yeah, we do. So we do it as a courtesy to the neighbors to let them know, hey, we're doing an open house at your neighbors on Sunday. There may be a little bit more traffic on your street than usual. Everybody, you know, one of the things about real estate is everybody wants to talk about it. Everybody has questions. And typically when we do that, they'll say like, well, tell us about the house. What's the price? What's this? And it just gets conversations started. And again, if we as realtors stop thinking about the money and the transaction and get into the relationship, we're going to be very successful.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I guess we asked a lending question. As far as the partners you work with, as far as inspectors, lenders, I know you and I work together, mainly on the listing side. What do you look for in different, lenders and people that you do business with and refer to?
Sure. So for our lenders, I love a relationship. So first of all, I would like the lenders to be available 7 days, like we are available 7 days. I don't work 24/7. I would never expect anyone to work 24/7. To me, that's silly. You got to work 7 days. It's just part of our business. Set your hours. Tell your clients your hours. But we like to work with lenders who are available the same hours, days that we work. I also stress to our team that your lender needs to be your partner. You and the lender are partners with your buyer. So if we're working on, before we go under contract, if we're working on just trying to get them to look at homes or send them homes, you follow up one day, your lender follows up the next day. It's got to be a partnership, and that's how it works.
I agree.
And then once we go under contract, obviously I love if I am listing let's talk buyers. So if I'm a buyer's agent or a buyer's agent for that day, and I have the buyer and we've gone under contract, I love to introduce the listing agent to the lender. Cool. Love that, because the lender wants to keep all parties abreast of the transaction. And you know what? It's also another way for the lender to meet a new agent.
Yes, which we very much like that.
And it's just, let's face it, our business is all about follow up. So that's what we look for in a lender. For a home inspector, is that what you're asking?
Sure, keep it going.
Okay. Home inspectors, again, especially during this crazy market that we left in the spring. Sometimes we would do 2-day inspections, 3-day inspections. We needed to have partnerships with inspectors who could fit us into their schedules. That was super important to us. The other thing is we want our inspectors to be brutal and honest, but we don't want them to scare people away. So we want all of the defects to be told, but it's the way that it's told. And that's probably in life. It's the way that you present it. You can say the same thing 2 different ways and you're going to have a different effect on people. So we want our inspectors to tell our buyers all about the defects and things that need to be done in the home, but we want it presented in a favorable way.
Yeah, very good. Okay.
Or gentle way. It doesn't have to be favorable, gentle.
Yeah, I agree, because an inspection report can be very scary, but they go through every nook and cranny of that house. I mean, we're still in a tropical climate. You're going to find something. So.
Yes.
Okay. Well, any other questions from your folks there?
What do you love about having this team? What's the biggest thing?
Jackie's asking, you can't see her. Jackie's here. She's asking, what do I love most about having this team? Okay. Yeah. So one of the things that I love so much is that we talk constantly. And I don't know how, because I've had a team for so long, I don't know how people do it, because we need to, as a team, bounce ideas off each other. And also there's frustrating days in this business where you're yelling with yourself, not your client. You're crying, again, not in front of your client. But you know what? It's so easy to pick up the phone and say, I just had a really bad experience. I need to cry. I need to vent. can I vent? That's one of our lines where we're calling each other. Hey, I'm just calling to vent. So I think that a team, like a family, we take everybody's good points, bad points. I just had this conversation with my son, Matthew, we talked about friendships. Are you going to like everything about your friends? Are your friends going to like everything about you? No, but what's the level that you're going to tolerate that you don't like or that you like? So we're all different. Like, that meme, it's great because we're not crazy. We're not all crazy in one day. We take turns being crazy during, the week. So it kind of balances out. But I think that's the biggest thing, is that we can support each other. If somebody has a great day, we're there, rah, rah. If somebody has a bad day, we're there, yeah, let's go for a glass of wine. Let's vent. Let's talk it out. So that's what I would say, Jackie. Do you have anything to add?
I love doing that every day, but I would say just too, it's good for accountability.
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
So we're big into accountability.
Okay.
We meet every morning on the phone, by text. And it's not that I'm controlling, I just love accountability. So I love that everybody checks in every morning to tell me what their day is going to be like.
Okay.
Like, for instance, hi, I don't have anything going on all day. I'm available if you need me all day. Or I have a 10 o'clock inspection. I'm out with buyers at 3, And my day starts at 5. Maria Daru, if I am not up, she's good morning. Get up.
We've
So,
exchanged early emails because her and I both do the kid drop off.
I
So
can set my clock to her, so she's the first one checking in. And so we do a group text in the morning. But on Mondays, we have a team meeting. Just, it's different every Monday. We go over, sometimes about our listings or our buyers or helps and needs, or just a topic that we need to talk about. So I am a big believer in accountability.
yeah. So do you have any key performance indicators or KPIs that you want your folks to, like, a certain number of phone calls or outreaches? Do you track that the input versus the output?
Yeah, we don't.
Hmm.
We don't, because I feel that it's their business. They know what to do. I'm not going to micromanage that.
There you go.
They know what they need to do. They know the amount of phone calls they need to make.
Mhm.
It's like dieting. Tomorrow starts my diet. It's February 1st. I gave January I know what to do. I know that I shouldn't be eating, packages and things of goldfish. So we all know what to do. It's just, and I think that, we're all self-starters. We're all salespeople. We know that 6,000-pound object, even though it's really heavy to lift, it's so hard. It's called a phone. But we know that after we lift that 6,000-pound object and we hang it up, it's such a great feeling, right? It's like after you run, do I want to run and lace up and take a run and run for an hour? No. But how do I feel after?
Yep, exactly. Well, unless you have any other questions, I think that was a fantastic interview, Susan. I wanted to thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, for coming on. No, it was
Out of my comfort zone, but I did it.
You would never know it. Really, you blew it out of the water. But thank you again for coming on, and look forward to working with you and your team.
And again, if anybody on the call has any questions, they can text me or email me privately.
Very good. Yes, everything will be in the show notes, and this will be on all the podcast platforms as well as YouTube eventually. And I want to thank you again. I'll make you famous. Yep.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.